Hi there, and welcome to the next episode in Distillique's Distillery Tours. Today we're at the historic Rawdons Hotel in the beautiful KZN Midlands Meander, where we're visiting Notties Brewery and their spin-off, the Rawdons Distilling Company. We're going to be speaking to the owner of Rawdons Hotel and both the Notties Brewery and Rawdons Distilling Company, Peter Dean, who's going to tell us more about what they do here at the distillery and at the brewery.
Andre, yeah, so I'm actually Australian born. I arrived in South Africa in 1982 and lived in Ashawi, Zululand. I married Susan Atwood, who was the current owners of Rawdons Hotel's daughter. So in 1993 we moved to the hotel from Ashawi, and the hotel was just a little icon of the old lady of the Natal Midlands. So it's a 30-bedroom hotel, thatch roof, trout fishing in the middle of the iconic Midlands Meander, which we were instrumental in actually starting up. So the whole benefit of the Meander has really attracted to the success of hotels in the area. All along when we started here, I was very keen to get involved in microbrewing, as they called it in those days, because that was what was really popular in Australia, in Perth and Melbourne. And so with my father-in-law, Don Atwood, in 1993-94, we started some trial brews with a brewery that we bought from Crawford's Brewery, which was based in the industrial area of Durban. We bought the brewery, we put it up in our cellar, and we started producing some full mash beers. At that stage, we got the help of Trevor Morgan, who was a ex-SAB brewer, one of the top, or not a brewer, a chemist actually, and he was in Pietermaritzburg doing a wheel and steel tire franchise, and he was bored out of his mind. So he joined us up at Rawdons, and we started making some really good ales, in particular lagers, on our little 50-litre small batch brewery. Our pale ale is based on the Lion Ale which was produced in Pietermaritzburg, which Trevor was in charge of for many years. So we had 4 beers, 2 ales, 2 lagers, Pickle Pig Porter, our Pied Possum Pilsner Lager, and our Pale Ale, which was, like I say, based on the Lion. And we really just started that in earnest in 1996. We built the brewery behind us, which was an amazing feat when you think that we had no internet, so we had to resource everything by going to Germany, going to Beer Fest, looking at festivals, and trying to work out how to do a heat exchanger, actuators, that we built from scratch and fabricated with local engineers in Maritzburg, and just found our way through to our current situation where we are now. Okay, so now we've been brewing here for close on 25 years now, legally, and a few years in trial. And I had a mate that who was a Michael House master down the road at the school, and I expressed interest in maybe producing gin and whiskey. It was a two-sided thing. One was to also try and find, if we had a batch that wasn't right, that we could distill and recover some alcohol instead of dumping it. But the idea really was to make some really good gin and whiskey in particular, because we do a full mash. Unlike most distilleries that are producing gin these days, who buy a wash from one of the big distillers or one of the big sugar refineries, we do a full mash. So we have the ability to turn our alcohol from grain into whiskey, gin, and vodka. So we can do the whole range. Whereas I've even had a lot of distillers contact me whose product is all over the place, but they can't make whiskey, so they were wanting us to actually do the wash and make a whiskey. So we attended the distiller's course at Distillique in Johannesburg, Pretoria, and we started our venture into distilling, which is really such a fantastic new area to the brewery, and it's an add-on. Just like a dairy turns their product into yogurt, we're finding different ways that we can expand our brands. And once again, it comes back to the Midlands meander, and that is about crafting, it's about local produce, it's about local producers. And I think that the more that we can expand onto the whole alcohol brand, it also helps to fill our hotel. We've become a huge destination now. The brewery is recognized for good quality, consistent products, and we get a huge amount of people coming to the brewery, to the hotel. So as a spin-off, the brewery has been an absolute winner for the hotel. A lot of people have built spas and wedding venues. We chose to go this route, and I don't think we've never looked back. Yeah, listen, it's operating or setting up anything in South Africa is not easy because of the breakdown in a lot of our systems. Probably our biggest challenge was just registration with SARS, which is, ironic that, we've got money to pay, we just can't trade. So that has been a big hindrance. And then no sooner are we sort of getting on top of that, then we end up with a lockdown. And the lockdown has without doubt thrown a huge amount of stresses and strains towards us. We did start manufacturing, obviously we've got essential oil still, we've chosen for that, for our gin. And that's, we started making hand sanitizer, and then we just realized that we were giving away 80% alcohol for, as a sanitizer, mixing it with glycerol, etc., and it didn't make commercial sense. So we stopped doing that. What we did find after the shutdown, when we reopened, we had a huge amount of stock came back, so we did distill that just to get some raw alcohol. But we also learnt that we decided we're not going back to bottle stores. We're going to wind our neck in and just start concentrating on home deliveries with courier guy or distribution network, so that we can almost cut out our middlemen, cut out the bottle stores, and send our products straight door to door to the clients. Therefore, we can give them a better price, a better service, a fresher beer. And the same with the gin, because I think one of the biggest problems with craft gin is that by the time it's been through the network 2 or 3 times, the wholesaler, retailer, people are paying huge amounts of money for craft gin. They don't mind paying a premium because obviously our overhead structure is enormous compared to the big distillers per litre. But they, if they're going to drink it on a regular basis, it needs to be a little bit more affordable. You know, what's interesting, one thing we have worked out on the brewery side is that keeping a huge product range, just like in the hotel, having a huge menu, requires a lot of stock and a lot of risk for the quality control. So we've decided that we're just going to keep small, keep compact, and keep having fun. Most people, when they start up a distillery or they go to one of your courses at Distillique, they've all got this idea that they're going to be the next distill, they're going to have the brewery, and they want the biggest production, they're going to even export the product. When you know what's around the world and what your competition is, we just realized that for us it's about just keeping small and keeping content. So we have very small range. We've kept the Rawdons name on our gin. Once again, trying to keep the hotel and the association with the brewery on site. So we do a pink and a normal gin, normal colour. And we have been in trials. This is moonshine probably, but it's actually 3.5-year-old whiskey that we have made for ourselves at home, and we've just tried out and testing some barrel aging and the different types of barrels, and this is proving to be really successful. So one of our biggest things we have to try and do is keep the association with the hotel. We employ about 52 people throughout the hotel and the brewery, on our grounds, and our cattle, which eat all our spent grains. So we have a big family here to look after. And the biggest problem with the things like lockdowns and whatnot, it affects everybody. I mean, the hotel has been hugely affected for 4 months, and we have now decided to just cut back, keep our range tight, keep our distribution small. And we just want to be a novel destination for people to come and visit. We're not going to become the next SAB. We don't want to become another Devil's Peak and invest hundreds of millions into equipment, and we just want to keep having fun. So I think that's probably one of the things that people miss a lot when they venture into a business. It's about getting more staff, more people, more distribution, more vehicles, because I think it's going to bring you a better bottom line. But in a lot of ways, there's that exponential curve where just enough is perfect. And with the hotel look at these grounds. The hotel's 60 years old. It's thatch. It's in a pristine area. This is you don't see the paradise you live in sometimes, and we're very fortunate to have what we've built up here as a destination. I think for a start, it's our location. It's based at the hotel. It's on the Midlands Meander. We're very fortunate we're not in an industrial area somewhere. I think that all of our staff have been trained in-house. None of our staff have come from a big corporation. We obviously, coming from beer or producing beer, we can produce from grain wash, and I think that is probably what separates us from 90% of the distilleries in South Africa, is that our alcohol is grain-based. And a lot of people who sell London Dry gin don't understand that London Dry, by virtue of that, is that it's made from grain. So I think that our location, the fact that we have a brewery, so we get our raw materials from our brewery, our local staff, our staff are all locals, and we've got a lot of in-house training. So I think that what we're doing now is we're running our educational classes with Nick, which is going to be a real winner, because this one is where you can come spend a night where luckily we have a hotel, you've got a beautiful bar, probably one of the best bars in the country. You spend the night, the next day you can spend a 4 or 5 hour course with Nick. You choose your ingredients, which we've got here, all our botanicals, and you can have a little competition. So we've got 2 setups, 4 people here, 4 people on the next table, so groups of 8 to 10 people. It could be for the ladies just before the wedding as a sort of a team get-together, and you produce your own bottle of gin and you take it home with you. We are also expanding that with we've got oak barrels, and we're getting groups of guys together, and we will be offering them the opportunity to barrel 20 to 50 litres of whiskey for themselves. That whiskey then will be ready in 3 years and 1 day, and they can come back, they can bottle it, brand it, and even the schools have expressed some interest so that they, like a C block, they can make the whiskey, but they can only drink it when they're 18 or 19, and they can come back and pick up their whiskey with their school badge on it, or whether it's a rugby team or whatever. So I think that, along with a weekend away, I think we can offer a lot, which a lot of other people can't offer. Yeah, I think that basically because it's on the meander, it's local people, and we're selling to domestic market only. I think that the whole emphasis on staying small, staying local is really to grassroots. So wages and salaries that are paid here go straight to the families of all our employees. I think that we get all our malt from South Africa. It's all grown in the Cape, and because we use our malt for our gin as well, then there's a huge amount that goes into wash, rather than buying sea spirits from the distillers, as mentioned before. So I think that we've also done quite a few fundraising things where we've, on our beer in particular, a certain amount of our beer sold went to the Rhino Foundation. George Subramani, who worked here for 60 years, we're bringing out a beer called My George, and that is a beer in respect for his 60-year service at Rawdons. He died tragically through COVID just a few months ago. So after putting 60 years of your life and then just not having a chance to retire properly is heartbreaking. So we're doing a bit of fundraising with that. And obviously we donate to the SPCA, we help where we can. I think we have to be the epitome of a craft distillery, craft brewery, small hotel, and I think the fact that it's all about our scale of production. We're not chasing turnover. We're rather just trying to keep quality as number one. We are family owned, so the same family has basically owned Rawdons for nearly 60 years. So we have a personal pride in our products. So we carried the gin through to the Rawdons gin, and I think that the fact that we are small, we can react quickly. So if we want to change, we want to bring in a new line, we do it within weeks. We don't have to wait for corporate decisions. So the fact that we are small, maneuverable, and quality comes first, I think that is what craft is really all about. Coming out of COVID situation, I think it's looking very bright. Domestic travel is obviously going to pick up, and I think a lot of people are realizing that there's beautiful places like this in South Africa. You don't have to hop on a plane and go to Italy or Germany. So I really think that we're going to be in a new growth where people are looking for homegrown, locally produced. So I think, yeah, I reckon we are on an up. Okay, our products, we purposely kept them very low distribution. We've learned over 30 years that craft beer has a shelf life, and it's not so much the shelf life is the issue, it's the people that maintain the cold chain. They put your products on the shelf, so we've learned just to keep small and keep our distribution tight. So it's mainly online. So we're going all online. If you're in the area, when in Rome, come do as the Romans do. So you'll get our beer on tap in the area. Rawdons Hotel has probably got one of the best bars in the country. And the local bottle stores carry our stock, which is fantastic, and it keeps it fresh. But online is the way we're heading. I think that is the future. Distribution companies have caught up with the idea now. So I think that we're going online.